everyone, Sleepy Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into Diablo 4 Season 10 sit-down chat, and I've got a lot to say about what's upcoming, including some personal hopes, concerns, and ideas for how this season could be a big step forward for the game. So let's get into it. Alright, so what I want to talk about first is the updates to the Infernal Hordes. This is going to be the biggest part of Season 10 and what I'm looking forward to the most. So they're buffing the weaker offerings to be closer in value to the strong ones. So like the offerings in the Infernal Hordes, some of the weaker offerings like the Soulspire offering were pretty weak. You never wanted to choose that, so you always choose something like the Summon the Hellborn offering. So they're trying to buff those weaker offerings to be closer in line to the Hellborn offerings. So that should be a good change for the Infernal Hordes, as well as following along with the theme of the new season. The new season theme is this is the season of chaos. So there's going to be chaos rifts that appear throughout Helltide and throughout the Infernal Hordes. And they're adding a new chaos offering to the Infernal Hordes. They say you want to pick this chaos offering because it offers high monster density with high ether density. And they also said that this chaos offering is going to be in terms of like a mini game. So it could be really fun as long as it's not. It brings me back to when Diablo 4 first came out and some of the events were glitchy. Some of the events were more experienced than others. And we might run into the same type of thing here where you get a chaos offering, but the random mini game that you get could be not the offering that you want. We're also getting 2 new boss fight choices, Bartok or the Fell Council. They're saying that Bartok is going to be very challenging, but you want to choose him because he's going to offer as a reward the Chaos Armor, which I'll get into later, but that's one of the seasonal mechanics of this season is the Chaos Armor. And yeah, I just hope that devs make him a tough fight, but if they do make him a tough fight, make sure that the Chaos Armor and rewards are representative of that tough fight. I don't want to have to grind him 100 times if he's going to be super difficult to fight. At the same time, I don't want him to be too easy because I think like grinding Duriel and the other in-game bosses gets quite boring when you're just trying to get mythic uniques, and it's going to be the same thing here with the Chaos Armor. So that's going to be one thing that they're going to have to make sure they finely tune in this PTR to make sure that Season 10 is successful. The difficulty of this boss, and then also the rarity of the Chaos Armor that drops. If it's too rare, people won't want to play, and if it's too easy to get, the season will be over before you know it. So hopefully it's somewhere in between. Next thing I want to talk about is they mentioned that in Infernal Hordes, in order to challenge Bartok, you have to give quite a bit of ether to challenge him. And usually when you're playing Infernal Hordes, you're playing with a party. And they said that each party member has to choose to fight Bartok. So I wonder how that's going to work in a party fight. When the first person picks, do the other person only get that option and have to pick it? We'll see how that goes. It could be messy in a party if people don't want to fight Bartok, for instance. The other thing is an Infernal Horde. I'm glad that they're buffering weaker on it offerings for the Infernal Hordes. But honestly, I hate the Soulspire offering. I just like to go in there and destroy monsters wave after wave. That's what I enjoy. I also hope that they boost the Chaos offering XP that you get in Infernal Hordes. Because right now, the only way to level at higher Paragon levels is to run the pit over and over again. And I hate that so much. I would like other options to level my character, and I much prefer running Infernal Hordes than I do the pit. And I wish Infernal Hordes and the Pit were at similar XP levels so that you had that choice. Yeah, so that's kind of what we learned about the Infernal Hordes changes. So what they actually say in the notes is that the Infernal Hordes are hotter than ever. We're dialing up the intensity on the incendiary mode. Infernal Hordes are fine. We've done a significant rework of Infernal offerings revealed between each wave. Our goal is to try to make all offerings feel valid as choices for you as you start to stack them to focus on your run. We're doing this by balancing existing offerings, changing the effects of some offerings, and adjusting base monster populations. At the start of the Infernal Hordes, you'll now start an Infernal offering to immediately stoke the embers and breathe some fire into your run. So what they said about the Fell Council. The Fell Council has had some promotions. When fighting them, one of their members will now be the designated council speaker and gain enhanced abilities. So that might be interesting. I don't know. From my experience, Diablo 4 always falls short with some of the boss fights, or they just overdo it like Lilith. What they said about the Chaos monsters. Hell has unearthed a new monster family from the deep. It's Horrid Maw, born of smoke and brimstone. These Chaos monsters provide a powerful shrine-like buff when killed. So that's going to be one of the advantages of going after the Chaos Rifts. You get to fight the Chaos monsters, and then you get a buff while you're fighting them, hopefully. The Chaos Waves. So what they said about the Chaos offering is Hellfire Brews, the Dastardly Maladies. Within the Infernal Hordes, you will occasionally be offered the choice of a Chaos Wave within the Infernal Hordes from your Infernal offering. You can expect an amount of Chaos Waves offered relative to the Infernal Compass tier each time you enter the Infernal Hordes. Chaos Waves completely alter the upcoming wave, imbuing Havoc an intense challenge. These waves will significantly increase difficulty but reward far more ether should you be able to survive. And Chaos Waves will have many combinations to discover and master. Dodge deadly projectiles from Chaos Rifts, slay a rampaging Hellworm, or hunt down erratic Ether Goblins. Chaos awaits. I really hope that these Chaos Waves are balanced. I just hate getting waves that are activities that are far worse in experience or ether than others. We'll see how that goes. And then what they said about fighting Bartok, the Warlord of Blood. Rather than facing off against the Fell Council, you can choose to risk your hard-earned ether and throw down against the Insidious Reborn Bartok to complete your Infernal Hordes run. Okay, so that's just Bartok to get those extra Chaos armor. And then he said the Fleeting Hordes. So this is one thing that they're discussing, is that we're introducing a warm version of the Infernal Hordes to burn through earlier in your character journey. In pre-Torment tiers, you'll play this modified version of the Infernal Hordes to slay through before reaching Torment difficulties. Fleeting Hordes will be 4 waves in total with limited Infernal offerings to keep the pack's vicious goblins under control. Upon completing the 4 waves, you'll fight 2 Fell Council members before you can spend your hard-earned ether for rewards. So those are basically easier Infernal Horde modes. I'm interested to see how rare those keys are when you're leveling 1 to 60. If you get them quite often, it could really increase the leveling from 1 to 60. So we'll have to test that in the PTR. The one thing that I'm sad about is that they're always focusing on leveling 1 to 60, and I really think that the devs need to look at focusing on leveling on Paragon 0 to 300. I just think it takes way too long to get to 300 for, especially after you get past 250 for little to no upgrades in your character's power. And I just think that's wrong, and really the only activity that you have to run is the pit, and I'm hoping they bring the hordes up to the pit level so that we have that choice as well. So Bartok beckons. What it says here is an infamous Vizjirai warlord known for his acts of cruelty performed in the Mage Clan Wars. Bartok's provision known no bounds. He returns to Sanctuary with a new warlord of chaos. So this is the part that I'm worried about being in parties with. Each member of your party will need to spend ether to fight the infamous Vizjirai Bartok, who was once known as the Warlord of Blood. The first player who chooses sets the decision for the rest of the party. So that means whoever picks it, everyone else just automatically spends their ether. We'll see how that goes. Bartok will harness chaos portals to shoot projectiles at your location, master his tactics, and enter your chaos portals tactically to gain the upper hand. Upon defeat, Bartok's rewards will appear on the ground, so you do not have to spend additional ether to claim these spoils. Okay, so the next thing that we haven't discussed yet is the theme of Season 10. So Season 10's all about Mephisto. He's opening Chaos Rifts all across Sanctuary. And with that, we're getting a brand new family of demons to fight. So I hope these new demons just aren't cosmetic. I want them to give a big XP boost. To give them an XP boost to help them with the Infernal Hordes. The Infernal Hordes are going to show up in Hell Tides, and they'll be available as you're leveling to level 60. So like I said previously, it'll be interesting to see how fast we can get to level 60 when we go there. And then the next thing, one of the big features that they added as part of the season are the Chaos perks. The devs are saying these will be more impactful and actually change how you think about building your character, kind of like changing the filling in a cake instead of just the icing. I'm personally excited for these changes as it could shake up meta builds. I just hope the perks aren't exactly the same for every build. According to the devs, each class will get 4 unique perks, so that gives me some hope, basically. We'll see how that goes, though, whether they've designed it well enough that people pick different perks depending on the build that you're running. After that, just wanted to talk a little bit about the Chaos Armor. So the Chaos Armor can be dropped by Bartok. We'll see how rare it is. But basically what it is it takes the uniques, and basically you can get a unique on one of, or that unique can be randomly rolled into another piece of gear. So like if it's normally an amulet, you can get it on one of 5 pieces of gear instead. So like glove, helmet, chest, gloves, boots, and pants. So that could free up that slot to be used for another item. So that's going to change up the build metas a lot. Here's my theory on how things are going to go. The gloves, boots, and pants are probably going to be the most common picks for Chaos Armor. Most people will want a Shaco or Erepedition for their helmet slot. And this could actually make the Melting Heart of Selig more viable for certain builds. So you'll have maybe a few more mythics that are used with a bunch of uniques, and who knows, maybe we won't see that many legendary items in people's builds in this season. So we'll just have to see how that goes. So with that, one of the things that some of the things, I also watched the whole PTR discussion. I'm not going to show that here, but in the Q&A, the devs also mentioned they might bring back some fan favorite seasonal powers or uniques. Honestly, I think instead of just adding uniques or items that you could randomly find that have a power from a previous season, I think they need to focus more time on, if they want to bring back the powers, make a permanent progression system to the game. I think the game's severely lacking in progression systems, and because of that, we run out of things to do at the end of the game, and we need more things to progress to keep us playing the game longer during each season. So with that, my final thoughts are that I'm going to be excited to be testing out the PTR next week. So the Season 10 PTR starts on August 19th and runs until August 26th. During the PTR, I'll be testing the leveling speed and changes to the Infernal Hordes, and I'll also be putting together a full guide on how to fight Bartok, so you'll know exactly how to take him down once the season goes live. I'm personally excited to play Season 10. I hope it changes up the meta like we think. I'm expecting a lot of broken builds, though. That kind of makes me a little disheartened. I hope that that's not the case, but we'll just see how it goes. So with that, what do you guys think about the Season 10 changes? Are you hyped for the Chaos Armor and Chaos perks, or do you think it's just more icing on the cake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my PTR coverage later this month. And everyone, I'll see you in Sanctuary. Have a good evening, have a good night, and I'll see you later. Bye.